I mentioned I was going to rant about the media at the top of the third hour. I do want to say this is my rant for the day. Okay, back when I was a kid, when I started in news in 1971, we had largely unbiased media because radio and TV stations had to have their licenses renewed and therefore had to program in the public interest, and the vast majority of them were locally owned. And that was largely done away with, both by Reagan stopping the enforcement of the Fairness Doctrine and Clinton signing the Telecommunications Act in '96. Both Republican initiatives, by the way. So now television networks are showing a clear bias for or against particular candidates. Case in point, I would say that CNN, MSNBC, and Fox created Donald Trump. They created his candidacy. They turned him into the Republican front runner, and now, by the way, they're turning on him. They're trying to take him down, and he's collapsing in a lot of states. Why? Because the media doesn't like him anymore. So, similarly, billionaire Jeff Bezos took over the Washington Post. It suddenly became anti-Bernie headquarters. Jonathan Capehart and all these others writing over there, and 16 anti-Bernie articles in 24 hours. There's no longer any objectivity, even in the news pages of our newspapers. And, billionaire Rupert Murdoch has been playing this game forever. As more billionaires buy more and more newspapers. The latest one is Mort Zuckerman with the New York Daily News taking what I thought, and I encourage you to read it, by the way. Read Bernie's interview with the New York Daily News. You can get it from Hillary Clinton. And or you can find it easily anywhere else on the internet. I got it from Hillary Clinton, or from her campaign. And read that interview. And then look at the way it's been characterized in the press. And you get it that the press is not connected to reality. And that the press is making and breaking candidates. Now, because of this media blackout on Bernie Sanders, or the media, when they do cover him or characterize him, they do it generally in a negative way. Most of the people who know about Bernie know about him because of the internet. And by the internet, the vast majority of, quote, the internet is actually Facebook and Twitter. More than half of the non-porn, non-Netflix activity that goes on the internet is Facebook. So what would happen? Facebook and Twitter are both largely owned. I mean, they're both publicly owned companies, but their founders, their CEOs are billionaire, more or less libertarians, depending on which article you read. So what happens if Facebook or Twitter start saying, we're going to start picking candidates, and we're going to favor the Facebook feeds and articles and stories and the Twitter feeds and hashtags. We're going to favor the ones for a particular candidate. Let's say it's Bernie. And we're going to not favor the ones for another candidate. Let's say it's Trump or Clinton or whatever. I mean, fill in the blank. If our corporate media, if our so-called free press, if our Fourth Amendment, if the press that was protected by the First Amendment, Fourth Estate, if the press that was protected by the First Amendment to the Constitution has been largely corrupted and corroded by financial interest, by financialization, and by monopoly. Now you've got 6 companies basically controlling pretty much everybody people see, hear, or read. If that happens on the internet, what's left? Shouldn't we be having a conversation about this in the United States? Shouldn't this be part of our political dialogue, the state of our media? You got, in Wisconsin, they're talking about how the reason Donald Trump lost Wisconsin is because 6 right-wing talk show hosts took him on. Well, there's right-wings. There's no place in Wisconsin where you can't turn on the radio and listen to right-wing talk. And not only national, but local as well. There's only one place, to the best of my knowledge, in Wisconsin. Well, we're on a public station in Milwaukee. We're on the mic, 92.1 in Madison. And that's pretty much it for progressive talk in Wisconsin. And this is the case all over the country. But it's not just talk radio that I'm concerned about. It's like the whole thing. We're that close from losing the ability to even communicate news with each other.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-536-2370.
This is why, A, net neutrality is so vital, and B, like Twitter and Facebook, they're way beyond the reach of the FCC. What do we do?
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.